For once, I actually get to do a Monday night video where I'm not complaining or upset or moaning about something happening in the world or at school or whatever it is that has, generally taken a poop on my day. Today has been pretty much spot on by the looks of it. No problems at school, no problems with the other kids, no problems with anything. Everything was hunky-dory. I've not really got any update on most of this stuff except one little bit that I didn't cover off in a previous video. We got our second set of AQ test and Connor 3 tests through because we didn't put a stamp on the other ones, which I may have covered actually, and we redid the tests, went through them so many times and found that somehow the score has gone up on the AQ test since the last time we did it. I think so much has happened in the past month that it's affected the old score. I actually found a way of scoring the Connors test, which was interesting, and I read through that, and so I'm intrigued to find out what the school says about all this and what the doctor says about all this, because who knows. But this wasn't going to be a video about that. I just thought it was a little update there. Because I got home and there was no problems with any of the kids. Everything was great, and I'm getting Ben out of the car and I'm faffing around trying to unhook I take my poker ball in the car with me, because when I'm driving through traffic it will spin all the poker stops for me on the way. It means I don't have to press anything. No one has to be in the car to do it for me. I can just spin stops as I drive, and no hands for me to do it. I just hold the steering wheel and drive. I don't even have to think about it. But when I look at my phone, it's spun a bajillion stops. So I'm faffing around trying to get that. I got Ben in one arm, I got bags. I'm trying to unhook it from where I hook it in the car so I can bring it into the house. And I just see this little thing just run across in front of me, and I'm like, it's a bit big to be a cat. And I thought, but it's definitely the right size to be a molly. And I was just like, ugh. And I heard, I think it was Claire, just suddenly go, oh, for goodness sakes, Ollie, you've left the door open. And I thought, oh, here we go. So I ran to the door, just shoved Ben in Claire's hands and went off, calling Molly and just going, and she just wasn't going to come. I knew she's not the sort of dog that would respond to her owner telling her to come and whistling and trying to coax her with words. She knows that all that's going to result in is me picking her up and carrying her home, and her not being out running around doing whatever she wants to do. So it's pitch black. I had a torch. I spent probably 5 minutes looking. I did put this on Twitter, so if you follow me already, this story's you already know the ending to this. But I basically looked and I thought, there's only one place she's going to have gone at this time of night, and that is the massive muddy field next door to my house. And I just refused to go and traipse through it. I thought, she's got a chip in her. They'll be able to tell where she lives if they find her in the morning or whatever. She'll come home otherwise. She has done in the past when she's done a run, and she's appeared at our front door like an hour later. I'm going home. So I wandered back in and I said to Claire, I'm not doing it. I'm not looking for her. I can't be bothered. I'm not running around in the mud making a fool of myself just so that she can come back and be completely fine. Oh, I'm not doing it. And Claire kind of agreed. Fair enough. She'll come back. So I was upstairs getting changed. The poor old Ollie's going, we've lost our dog. We don't have a dog. And I'm like, don't be silly. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. She'll turn up. And then I just heard Emily go, I got her, she was across the road. I just went across to the other side of the road and picked her up and brought her back in. I'm like, huh. Apparently she hadn't gone towards the muddy field down here. She just literally walked into there's like a house, we're on like a cul-de-sac and there's a couple of houses opposite. She's just gone for a wander there. I mean, I saw her run that way, but she just obviously diverted off round and went for a little walk and then came home. But Emily was obviously the hero of the piece, and I just felt really guilty because if I'd have put maybe that much more effort into finding the dog, I'd have found her pretty much immediately. I mean, Emily just walked out, went across the road, got her and came back in. But she's a nightmare. She gets out all the frigging time. When we were younger and we first got her, at least when we were little, when she was little, before we had Emily and the other kids, we used to let her off the lead and she'd just go running off into the distance. And I remember one time Claire screaming out, stop, like almost in tears, and Molly just kind of went and came plodding back to us because she realised something was absolutely wrong. The amount of times her lead would snap or something stupid and I had to chase her around. So we don't let her off the lead. She's a very much on the lead dog because she gets upset if other dogs go near her. But as she's getting older, she's a real pain in the backside. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was so exhausted last night, and I thought, with everything that's going on with Ollie, with Ben running around like a lunatic now because he's basically walking and he's into everything, Molly's the extra nail on me just constantly letting out little whimpers and noises, and she doesn't know what she wants. She's getting doggy dementia or whatever it's called at the moment, and she's just a bit like, oh, and you let her out for a wee and she comes back in and says she wants to go for a wee again, and you let her out again and then she just sits out there, or she wants a treat. It's like, oh. And I don't know what to do. I'm kind of like, I wish there was something you could do. And then I'm flipping the video now into a complete tangent, but I was listening to the radio on the way home, and Johnny Vaughan was talking about they've made a machine that can look at what a rat is thinking. They're able to read this rat's thoughts now, to the point where it's not just, I thought, oh, they're just reading like the impulse for hunger or pain, and they're just seeing, oh, when it's in pain, the pain bit lights up. But they're not. What they've done is to put the rat in a maze, and they can tell, they've let it run through and find a piece of cheese or whatever, and then they've gone, right, start him again, and they put the rat in, and they can see the rat's thinking about where it found the cheese before, and it's wishing it was in that place. It's thinking, I need to get there, and when it gets there and there's no cheese, it starts thinking about other places it's been where it got cheese, and it starts to think about other ways it got there and what it's going to do and this sort of thing. They're able to predict where in the maze it's going to go because they can read its memories and read its thoughts. And I just thought, God, I wish that existed now properly. That this is obviously the early form of it in a lab, where they're basically reading the thoughts of these animals in really controlled environments. But it surely isn't more than a decade before I can just be like, what's wrong, Molly? And I could just see her thoughts on my phone on an app, and she'd be like, oh, she wants food. That's the food thought, or that's the I want to go to the toilet thought. I mean, bless her, she probably won't be here by the time that technology comes about, but it would make owning a pet a massively different prospect. I remembered learning about another piece of tech where they can hook up to someone's head and you can see what they're thinking. And I was thinking, that's something that would be useful if you could give that to the pet and give you the version where you can see what they're thinking. Like, so they can see a picture of what you're thinking, and you can see what they're thinking kind of out on an app. That'd be awesome for two-way communication with one another. I could be able to say, don't run off down there because it's a really muddy field. You know, I don't want you getting attacked by a fox or hit by a car or something awful. Come back home. And she could think, well, I kind of want to go and eat some poo. And we could have the debate back and forth between each other. I know that's a little bit far-fetched, but it feels like that's the practical use of this technology. I don't really want to know where a rat wants to be. I don't want to sit there and see that Molly can remember a field she ran through, or a particularly delicious piece of food she found on the floor or something like that. I want to be able to say to her, what do you want? And for her to be like, yeah, I just need a bit of food or whatever. I mean, that would be all she would think. That is pretty much all this dog thinks about. She always wants a treat. I'm the person who gives her the treat, so she always wants me to give her a treat. And whenever she sees me, it's complete cupboard love, and that is all she ever does. But no, it fascinates me. I'm thinking to myself already, they need to throw all their money into this and call it, I don't know, the Doolittle device, and I need to be able to see what pets are thinking. I'd love to have been able to do that when I had my axolotl. Back when I started doing these videos, and my poor little axolotl hadn't eaten for however many weeks, to be able to just see what she was thinking, and be able to say, oh, okay, she's got pain in her stomach or something, I can take her to the vets and get it sorted, would have been amazing. I don't really know how big this device is or how complicated it was, or whether they just had to put a chip in the pet's brain or whatever. I'm not sure I'd want to buy a dog and then jam a chip into its brain. That'd be a bit drastic. But no, I'm fascinated by stuff like this, and I guess I haven't really got a roundup of it all. I just thought it was really cool. I was like, damn it, I wish I could have communicated with her. The only other thing I wish we had, I got given a free, it's like a Bluetooth tracker. It's for home use, so if you lose something in your house, you can look on your app and it'll tell you how far away you are from it. Now, my thought process at the time was I could put this on the dog's collar and I'd be able to see where I was in relation to the dog, but the range of Bluetooth isn't that far, so by the time she got to the field I wouldn't have known where she was. I don't know whether it'd pick up whether I suddenly got near her. That would have been handy, but I wish they'd make smaller, cheaper GPS things as well, because again, I wouldn't mind her roaming around if I knew she wasn't going to do that. If I could tell her not to eat poo and stuff and just send her off to run off and then come back, that'd be awesome. Just track her on a bit of GPS, job done. But I feel like we're on the cusp of all of that. That'd be cracking when that actually comes about. I feel like that'd be a bit sinister, because you get people, I'd want to put it on the kids so they could go out and enjoy and have fun and I'd know where they were, but that seems a bit too far then. There's lots of questions there. But anyway, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to talk about that. That's basically what's happened today. Is she got out, I chased her around. I wish I could read her thoughts. I'm trying to think of all the other fascinating things you could do with that. Like, it'd be really handy to see if, I don't know, some animals in like safari parks, are they happy? Are they all right? Because some people claim they aren't, some people claim they are. You know, is it all right? They're not going to know much different, but you just want to be like, are you happy? Yeah, cool, all's good. If they say no, you go, well, what would make you happy? They might think about what would make them happy. Jobs are good. And it'd be amazing to just think about all the things we could do to communicate with stuff. We could end up with, I don't know. I was going to go down a whole route of, you know, animals working, but there's not enough jobs for humans. We don't need animals working too. And I don't really want to get down that whole route. That seems awful. But no, I'm going to stop before I go down a massive rabbit hole. I've been doing that a lot lately. I am going to do a slight one. I have been doing that a lot lately. And again, another thing I mentioned on Twitter, Claire asked me what I was thinking yesterday, and I said, nothing. You don't need to get into it. And she just left it at that. She's like, oh, fair enough. And I thought about it today, and I texted her and I said, when you asked me that yesterday, I wasn't thinking about anything important at all. There was absolutely nothing worthwhile on my mind. All I was thinking was, why the hell does nobody make an apple milkshake anywhere? Why can't I get an apple flavoured milkshake? Why doesn't that exist? And that was all I was thinking. And I was imagining the fact that maybe it's because different types of apple are grown. You can't grow the same type of apple every time you plant it. It's unpredictable. You don't know what they're going to taste like. It's all completely hard. Certain trees are good, other trees are terrible. No two trees are the same. It'd be impossible to get a consistent flavour, blah, blah, blah. And I was just going through that in my head for the whole time. And when she asked, I was so deep into it, I was imagining myself with a little hard hat on in a factory inspecting my apple milkshake making machines and all of this. And so I'm looking at my banana milkshake, which is what had triggered my thought. And she asked me, and I just looked at her and I was a bit like, I really don't, I'm not gonna explain my thought process. And I'm thinking, this doesn't happen this doesn't happen when I'm wound up. I think I'm starting to relax a little bit. I think I reached a point yesterday where I was like, I'm so het up and I'm so like about the whole universe and everything that's going on, and I think something's gone out the other side, and I'm starting to just think about crazy weird sheepdog things that I used to do all the time, and that's awesome because I haven't been like that very much lately, I think, and that's good basically. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to wrap up because this has been a completely left field, random, weird video. Give me some tech stuff. Put some cool tech that you found out about in the comments. If you read any of this stuff, if you know of anything, if you know of any other technology that could piece together with the one that shows what you're thinking. They were showing people pictures of people, and then they were getting the person to think about the picture, and then they were showing what their thought was on the telly, and it was slightly different. The picture that they were thinking of wasn't coming out identical, but it was showing that what they were thinking of was coming out, and they got them to think of other items and people that they knew from their past and things like that, and they were all coming up on this screen. So it's a legit tech, and it's been being developed. But if you know about other stuff like that, I'd love to learn more. I love learning about stuff like that. I'm a bit geeky about all that kind of thing. 3D printing food, all that sort of thing is just fascinating to me. There's so much. I mean, the number one thing I want is force fields, and they don't seem to exist. So if you've seen any evidence of force fields existing in science somewhere at the moment, let me know, because that is my big one that I think would be absolutely amazing. I basically want to take a catapult to work. I want to be just catapulted with a force field around me, just 2 miles or whatever, knowing I can't get hurt because I've got a force field. I'll just land and carry on. I'm not going to get any further on that. So I'm this close to 1,000 subscribers. If you are, I was going to say if you are 8 people, if you are 8 people, subscribe. If you know 8 people, subscribe. I'm 8 away. I want to get to 1,000, damn it. And you have that power to get me there. Subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. Share your ideas, and I will do a video on Wednesday. And I'm really hoping that we have a good week this week. It would make me so delighted if we could just do a week of no drama, no nonsense, everything happy. Everyone seems happy. They're in a big Christmas spirit mood at the moment. Wednesday is Ollie's Christmas show at school. I did upset him a little bit by saying I might not be able to make it because I've got to go and do something with work. But we've agreed I'm just going to tell work I can't do it, and I'm going to go to his show instead, because I didn't expect him to be bothered, but he is bothered. So I'm like, definitely I'll be there. Emily's show's the week after. It's going to be a good week. I can feel it in my bones, damn it. If it's not, then you'll hear about it first, I imagine. But thanks for watching. Cheers. I'll see you soon.